The following is video footage from a recent news story on Fox News in which Bill O'Reilly addresses a controversial cross-dressing video that is presently being shown to students in California middle schools. Please pay close attention.
But first, another controversial California lesson plan in public schools. Some middle and high school students apparently being shown films produced by a gay media group in San Francisco, including this one about cross-dressing.
It was an itsy-bitsy teeny-weeny yellow polka dot bikini that she wore for the first time today. An itsy-bitsy teeny-weeny yellow polka dot bikini, so in the locker she wanted to stay.
Brilliant. Joining us now from Charleston, South Carolina, Fox News analyst Margaret Hoover. And here in the studio, Fox and Friends co-anchor Gretchen Carlson. You know, people who live in other parts of the country and they're going, are you kidding me? We're not kidding you, ladies and gentlemen. California public schools, all right? Here's the plan. Students sit there. Here it is. Now, I guess it's the tolerance thing again, right?
Oh, come on.
Well, that's why. That's how it's being marketed. Oh, okay, but let's walk through it. It's being marketed by the California public school authorities as teaching their students to be tolerant of all lifestyles, including this person wearing women's clothes. He's a guy.
Right.
That's what the intent is, correct?
Well, the problem is, and first of all, nothing against gays, lesbians, or transgender people, but there's a time and a place for everything. And I do not believe the time and the place for a child to learn about this is elementary school,
middle school,
even
yeah.
middle school.
Middle school.
And number one, the time and the place should be for the parent to tell the child about these specific things if they so choose. Why is it always that the parent has to opt out of these particular programs at school? And by the way, in this California case, the parents didn't even know about these videos.
Yeah, they just dropped down the kids.
Can you imagine that? If I don't know how you'd feel about your kids seeing this at school without your knowledge, but I would be outraged.
Well, I'm not happy about this at all, Hoover, because again, it's a social engineering project in the public schools. The parents don't know about it. I don't want cross-dressers to have a hard time in their lives. I certainly don't want any bullying of gay people, and I think it's a problem, and I think it has to be addressed by the school authorities. But you're basically social engineering. You're not teaching anymore. Am I wrong?
Right. No, you're right. And also, sexuality studies has no place in an elementary, middle school, or high school curriculum. That's like an elective in college. This is not to be taught in our public schools.
But they have sex ed all day long in public schools now. They have sex ed all day long.
Right. And you know what? And that's why, you know what, not all day long, but they need to be teaching kids the Gettysburg Address and the American presidents, and you know what, the California kids could take a lesson in finance or two, and maybe their state legislatures would learn how to balance their budget.
But let's deal with reality.
I mean, this is the problem.
Let's deal with reality. They have sex ed. It's in the schools. It has to be in the schools. We understand why, because you get a society that's fairly permissive, and children are becoming pregnant, and they're getting abortions, and they're having babies, and the school has an obligation in a health situation, all right, to say, look, here's what's going on, here's how you can prevent it, here's why you shouldn't do it. The Congress is going to pass more abstinence money that drives the left crazy, but that's happening. But this, Hoover, this is social engineering. This is basically saying, look, you kids, there are cross-dressers, and you should be accepting of them. And kids are going, what's cross-dressing, and why am I watching this?
Exactly. And about 1% of the population maybe cross-dresses. It's probably even less than that. So again, why are we catering to a very small percentage of society?
Because they have a lot of power, and the loopy educational people don't.
I just know my kids have a tough enough time figuring out regular, married man and woman, and to introduce this at a young level just complicates matters.
Hoover, you went to Stanford University, right?
No, I didn't. I went to Bryn Mawr College.
Oh, Bryn Mawr in Philadelphia. I thought you went to Stanford. Okay.
I did.
You went to Stanford. I'm sorry. I got the culture warriors mixed up.
He confuses the culture warriors.
Yeah,
you don't have individual identities.
Carlson went there, right? You went to Bryn Mawr.
If you have not yet been absolutely brainwashed by the New Age movement's spiritualist agenda, then right now you are probably appalled by what you just saw. But what is even more appalling is probably what you didn't see. If you sided with the comments made by Bill O'Reilly, then unfortunately, my friend, you've just been duped. What Bill O'Reilly and his female accomplices just did was apply something which is called the diapraxis, or what is more commonly known as the Hegelian dialectic. The Hegelian dialectic is a very subtle psychological process which can destroy conviction, crumble your conscience, and it can even eliminate every shred of opposition that might exist within you that would make you oppose the exterminating of Christian principles in society. And what is so sick about it is that it is very simple. It is a process which involves 3 phases, which are thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. The first phase of the Hegelian dialectic is simply presenting the thesis. A thesis is simply the ideologies or the beliefs of a group or of an individual. After this phase is completed, then phase 2 begins, which is the presentation of the antithesis. The antithesis is a completely opposite view from the beliefs or ideals presented in the thesis. This is done to confuse the thoughts of the dissenter or the target group. Then, when phase 2 is completed, phase 3 is initiated, which is the presentation of the synthesis. The synthesis is a compromise between the 2 radically opposed ideals or beliefs that were presented in the thesis and the antithesis, which brings about a completely new belief system. A completely new belief system which is more than readily accepted by the dissenter or the dissenting group, because it relieves the confusion that was on their mind, and unknowingly now they compromise their own belief system. This process is then repeated a number of times until the dissenter or the dissenters finally give up and accept a new belief system without any more dissent at all. And this is the process that the occult New Age movement is using to destroy Christian principles, Christian values, and to initiate in our society values that are wholly demonic and corrupt in their nature. Now, let's revisit O'Reilly's cross-dressing story, and I'll show you how O'Reilly is an absolute pro at applying the Hegelian dialectic.